I've generated over 9 million as an online educator, service provider, and community builder. I use AI every single day for hours upon hours in my business to get my work done and to get ahead, to a point where I now certify people in an accredited certification and show them how they can grow faster using AI for their marketing. In this video, I want to talk about an important gap with you that I see becoming a huge problem as we're entering 2026. And that is the gap between AI power users and casual AI users. So when I talk about AI and AI power users versus casual users, I talk about the tools you're probably familiar with, which is ChatGPT, Claude AI, Gemini, Perplexity. So basically large language models and wrappers of them. And what I see that concerns me is that we have a few selected power users that understand the capabilities and what skills they need right now to leverage them. And then we have a lot of casual users that still use AI like it's 2023, basically like a glorified search engine. They don't build any leverage in. And the difference between those two people is crazy. These people literally run circles around the casual users right now, to a point where I'm very concerned about the casual users, right? So they can get 2 weeks of work done with AI, right? And they get the same 2 weeks worth of work done in 2 hours with AI, because they understand the capabilities and they understand what skills and setups are required from them right now. So in this video, I want to talk about those trends and I want to talk about those capabilities and the skills that you need so you can assess where you are on the spectrum and make changes if necessary. Okay, so the first capability that I need you to understand where AI and those large language models are going is that they are going towards extended work that they do by themselves. And so right now they can do tens of minutes or even hours of human work alone by themselves, and this is only going to increase in 2026. So what your skill needs to be is that you need to be able to instruct and equip and supervise and manage those systems so that you can basically set up your AI and go, set up your AI and go, set up your AI and go, and then validate what's coming back, and from there move into the next chunks of work that you need to get done. And there's sub skills that move into it, and it all starts, in my opinion, with you acquiring the skill of vision building. You need to become a visionary in this time. Who do you want to become? How do you want to help people in our world as it is changing right now? I just did a completely free, and I will leave it up for free, vision board workshop where I help people clarify that, because everything trickles down from that layer. Because how can you instruct if you don't know what you're building, the big picture, the pieces that are needed, right? So that is really, really important for you to have that as a top skill. The next skill for you needs to be radical prioritization. So you need to understand what's the vision, where am I headed, what is my plan based on this vision, what projects and tasks are on the plan and which are not. The tasks and projects that are not on the plan, you need to radically don't do them and focus all your energy on doing the projects and tasks required to getting you there as efficiently, effectively, and as in a high quality as possible, as soon as possible, right? Because right now there are people, again, that are doing this. And so for you, you don't want to waste your time dabbling in and out of things. It's 2026. Nobody has time for shiny objects anymore. Your vision, from the vision, your projects, from the projects, your tasks with AI as efficiently as possible. So that's top skill, vision building, and then prioritization, and really being relentless and honest and strict with yourself, setting boundaries for what needs to be done because it plays into the vision. And maybe your vision is that you're multi-passionate, right? That's fine too, but we need to be honest about it so we can be efficient about it. Then we have the management. So how do we give that chunk of work? We need the vision to know what chunk of work needs to be done. We need to have scoping skills to say what is a discrete chunk of work I can get done with the current system, with the current capabilities. And now what do I need to give the system to get the thing done? And that is the instructions. So that's the next skill. You need to work on your communication skills, because everything happens in plain English right now. You need to have the right verbs, the right definition to instruct it clearly, right? So that's the evolution of prompt engineering. If you come again to me and say, act as a copywriter, right? That's a nice hack, and for some use cases it is appropriate. But if that's your understanding of prompt engineering, my love, I need you to dig a little bit deeper. And what you actually need to do is you need to become a brutally effective communicator and understand exactly what you want, what's the scope of what you want, and communicate that very, very clearly, and then provide the context that it needs to get it done. That brings me to the next capability trend and skill trend, what I see, what we need right now to be an effective power user. And that is context management. Memory capabilities are improving, context windows are improving. And now the question is, what data do we have in our business, and how do we need to provide it in what way so that our AI can fulfill the tasks we give it as efficiently as possible? And if you still start every new chat as a new chat, and you don't even think about providing context at the beginning of your chat, you just do zero-shot prompting, like right into the messy middle, like, my love, you need to change your ways, okay? When you start your chat, you need to provide context, but ideally you start to think way beyond the single chat and the context that needs to be provided in that chat. I need you to start to work with projects and with skills and with structures for how you can take inventory of your data, of your context, right? That's all your video recordings, all your files. How can you structure the input in the AI in an efficient way so that the process of inputting it gets efficiently and the right context is at the right place at the right time, so you can get those discrete chunks of work, especially the repetitive ones, done as effectively as possible. So that might look like you have to create your Claude projects and upload your files, but maybe the more efficient step is to say, I'm looking at my Google Drive and I'm looking how I can structure my transcripts and my work so that multiple systems can access it at the right point in time. So really starting to think how you manage context and how you manage your data will become so important if you want to be an effective power user of AI and get a lot of high quality done in alignment with your vision quickly. Now, what also plays into this is working with multiple systems. A casual AI user has maybe a ChatGPT Pro subscription and that's all you do. Right now in 2026, I want you to take advantage of all of the common models, which are ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, and Perplexity. Perplexity is maybe the one, I use it a lot for validation and for research. It's maybe the one you can still use in the free version, but I want you to speak all of those languages and explore what model you want to use for what capability. I use Claude the most, where I also have the highest subscription, because I can get most of my work in the best quality done with Claude right now. I use ChatGPT for quicker tasks as well as for image generation. And then I use Gemini a lot for the video analysis and for image generation, and then Perplexity, like I said, for validation and for research. So those are the tools that I use right now. I believe that if you only have been using with one tool right now, it's not what is the best tool, it is what tool is right for what I'm doing right now. And what goes hand in hand with that is that I want you to have at least a foundational understanding of who are the companies that stand behind those tools, what are their philosophies, and what type of tools are they building. Up until this year, for example, ChatGPT was mostly focused on the B2C, the end user, and they were building models that were tailored for engagement, right? Versus Claude and Anthropic has built models that were targeting a B2B audience and companies, so you can do different outputs with it. And so you have to kind of understand what are the intentions of the companies, what is their goal with those models, so you can also assess what is the best fit for you right now. That's a minimum baseline of educating yourself, and that might mean once a month you watch an update video on this of a trusted update channel. I will try to also provide those updates because I know a lot of people find them overwhelming, and I actually struggle with most of the updates being very hypey, and I just want to know what I need to know to get my work done more efficiently. So that's really important, is being able to work with multiple models, being able to provide context for multiple models and leverage them on top of each other. A big trend that we're also seeing right now is that because our human attention is getting so scarce, and what really matters is our vision and our taste and us providing the right input and validating the right output, what becomes more a trend is that we're using AI to check AI. You just have to think of AI code checkers, where AI creates the code and another AI validates the code, and then a human just looks on top of that. So you want to think about that for your own work as well. How can you have AI help you give it the right instructions on the first task, and how can you use AI to validate what it did and maybe use another model to fact check? So how can you use AI to take off as much cognitive burden as possible so you can preserve your scarce human attention and cognitive capacity and decision capacity on that day to make the final touches on the output. So that we will see that as a trend, we will see solutions popping up on that, but we already want to start utilizing that in our own work. So another thing that's really important, basic AI literacy. I have to address it. It's not like a fancy capability. It doesn't make you a power user, but it can potentially really harm you if you don't know these points. So at this point, if you're using AI for your business, I need you to inform yourself about ethical concern, biases, privacy concerns. Don't upload your customer data, your transcripts of intimate coaching conversations. Don't share details about your family members, things that can identify people, things like that into the AI, because for most models it means that it can go back into the training data. You are responsible for the AI output as well as for the AI input. AI is not a database. It is a prediction machine. You will have hallucinations. You will have a model that is sycophantic. You will have the model giving you right when you actually are not right. You need to specifically prompt it to challenge you. So those are basic AI literacy things. What are prompt components, right? So the instructions, the command that you give it, the instructions, the context, the output format that you want, the constraints, the examples, like think those basic AI literacy components, you really have to educate yourself, but those are just fundamentals. They are what's there to keep you safe and ethical, but beyond that, right, you really need to start thinking about workflows and how you can design those for your business. I hope I didn't mention it before, but last but not least, what I want to say is we see also the boundaries melting between technical and non-technical, right? So we have now code tools and that allow us to, in plain English, make our own tools that allow us to get work done faster. And when we can think like an engineer, we don't even necessarily need to have that technical knowledge to make those things happen. So right now, for you to become that power user in 2026 that you'll need to become to stay competitive, you really need to start thinking in workflows and what you need to provide and how you can provide it, so you can send your team off for work, and then it comes back to you, you validate, you integrate, and you get the next task done. How do you start learning this, right? Because now you might feel probably really overwhelming. I believe the very best approach, and this is how I learned it, is to do the following. Vision clarity. From the vision clarity, broken down your offers, your conversion corridor, your retention delivery, that translated into projects, the projects translated into tasks. The tasks are what you commit to do, and then you get AI's help to do the tasks as efficiently as possible. And you start by asking, I have this task, how can you or AI systems help me to get this done as efficiently as possible, right? And then, especially if you have recurring work, which is why I recommend part of my planner system that I've just productized what I've been doing for years, but it actually all started with this daily self-management worksheet. So every day I write down, based on my vision and on the projects that I'm working on, what tasks do I believe I have on that day, also everything that just comes into my inbox. I use the Eisenhower matrix to prioritize, and then I set an estimated time and I set a real time. When you do this for a week or two, right, I recommend a month, it's life-changing, then you will see what recurring tasks you have in your business. And then guess what? Those are the ones that you start to automate as much as possible. And that's how you get faster. And that's the most effective way to learn it without getting on tangents or without falling into anyone's get-rich-quick scheme or without watching a YouTube video that then makes you afraid that the world will end tomorrow because AI will take over. No doubt, there's a lot of concerns with AI, and I'm also unsure, but I'm pragmatic enough that I say I want to be able to use it as well as I can for my vision and purpose as long as I can. And this is how you get there. I hope you found this helpful, and I hope you take this seriously for 2026. I know it can feel scary, but I gave you a really, really practical roadmap to do this. And I also, if you find this helpful, plan on putting out more content like this. Thank you, and I see you in another one.